So, welcome to Northern Powerhouses, our business success stories series of interviews, where we discuss with local business leaders their backgrounds, their successes, their challenges, and what's really driving them forwards. And this afternoon, I'm delighted that we have back with us Sam Cooke, who's managing director at Blue Bricks magazine. So, Sam, thanks for coming back on. It'd be great if you'd firstly just introduce yourself, Blue Bricks magazine, what you do, how you help people. That would be wonderful.
Yeah, my pleasure. So my name is Sam Cooke. I'm the owner of Blue Bricks magazine. Blue Bricks is a property investment magazine, 10,000 readers UK wide, and we're more aimed at experienced property investors, property developers, people who are actively invested in the UK property market. Alongside the magazine itself, we also run a series of events UK wide. So since speaking to you, Chris, we've done a clay pigeon shooting day, a day out at the races. We do networking events. We've got a conference coming up. We've got a really big awards ceremony next year that we've literally just announced today, actually. So, and that's all part of the Blue Bricks brand, and again brings property investors together from across the UK to network, share experiences, and build relationships.
Brilliant. I think just in general, so building community is so important, isn't it? A
Mhm.
community of people that work together, share ideas, know what it feels
Yeah.
like to do what we do. It's such an important thing.
Absolutely, because I mean it's so lonely in business in general for a lot of
Yeah,
business owners. So it's nice to bring like-minded people together that share the same values and mission.
brilliant. Absolutely makes sense. So since we spoke last, I think it was last November or so. What significantly has changed for you in the business since we last spoke?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, the main ones really, I've employed another person who's replaced me. So I'm no longer operational in the business. I'm very much,
Brilliant.
yeah, focused on growth. We're launching a new business as well. We've got the awards lined up, which is what we're doing. When there's so much going on that you struggle to know what to talk about. And then we've got a couple of new a couple of new products in the pipeline as well that we're going to be
Brilliant.
launching. So all good stuff, all growing stuff, but it's brought its sort of growing pains.
Brilliant. No, you may or may not be aware, but our definition of a true business is a commercial, profitable enterprise that works without its owner. And so, this next step of allowing you to take more and more of a step back, such a virtuous thing. It obviously is good for us in terms of getting time back, but it's also great, great for the business because it creates more stability and more value in the business because it's not dependent on you.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like, you know what the weird thing is? I thought that when I replaced myself, I'd be less busy. I'm probably more busy, but I just feel like I'm focused on the right stuff now. I feel like when
Yeah.
I'm working on stuff that's driving things forward, as opposed to spending a full day in the office and then going, have I actually moved the business forward, or have I just kept on top of what we need to do to survive today?
Brilliant. And Sam, what would you say is some of the key challenges you've had to face over the last few weeks and months?
Yeah, I mean, a current one, Chris, to be honest, is costs are massive. They're always rising, and
Yeah.
they seem to rise at an equal rate to your revenue most of the time.
Yeah.
I've got this sort of magic trick where for every invoice I send out, I seem to get an invoice back of an equal value. So I'd say that that's tricky. Is it's great.
Sorry,
Sorry,
Sam, we lost
it
you there
cut
a
me
little
out
bit.
there. Where did I get to?
We were just talking about challenges that you faced, and obviously you mentioned the magic trick of the invoices. Every is a one for one invoice to invoice. But yeah, we're talking a bit about cost rising in general.
Yeah, so I mean that's been one is just trying to keep on top of costs as we've grown as a business and make sure that we keep them down because it's great getting money in, but you need to keep costs down too. And the other challenge has been people, not my team or my employees. They're absolutely amazing, my team. But I mean, when we've outsourced and tried to use freelancers to do things under delivery, has been a huge one. Massive delays on work that
Right.
they've promised and then been able to deliver on time. And I got to a point in January where I almost had a bloody mental breakdown because I was trying to outsource various parts of the business, and the stuff that was coming back was just so wrong. We had so many problems with it.
Yeah.
Like one of the print runs we had, there was massive print errors, and it caused huge delays. And I was thinking, how do I grow my business if I can't rely on anyone else
Yeah.
to do their bit? It's almost like I have to be doing all these things for them to be done correctly,
Yes.
and that was a bit of a problem.
Yeah, no, that makes absolute sense. It's a big challenge, isn't it, of getting what you expect and being, getting let down by other people. Can
Yeah.
be a real challenge. And what about wins and successes? Obviously, you mentioned the launch of the awards. What other positive stuff's been going on for you?
Yeah, so we've got launched a new business, which is all being well, taking place at the end of next week or start next week,
Great,
which has been huge. Hiring Vicky, my editor, was a massive achievement too. We had a horse racing day in Doncaster. That was a massive, massive success. I always knew it was going to be popular, but the feedback that we got from that day
brilliant.
was absolutely unbelievable.
Brilliant, brilliant, and celebrating wins. How good would you say? I find entrepreneurial people are not very good at celebrating their wins. We're always looking at what we haven't done yet, what we've yet to do. But how good would you say you are at celebrating wins when they happen?
That terrible, to be honest with you, absolutely terrible. Yeah, I won't lie to you. As soon as I've ticked one thing off, I'm like, right, we'll do the next. I'm trying to force myself into when the business launches to take a minute to go, right, this is really good. So I'm going to take myself away for a couple of days to Scotland, and
Brilliant,
just have a weekend somewhere with a nice little spa to myself to just
brilliant.
celebrate and also wind down a bit too, because you are right, it is important, and it is something us entrepreneurs are guilty of not doing.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of reason to understand why that happens, but it is. I think the two key things, Sam, that are valuable. One is it built what we find is celebration builds resilience. So it's something to fall back on in the difficult times. Why am I doing this?
Yeah,
Those sorts of things. Well, because we're good. But also, again, when you have a team, and I know you've got a great team there, it's important for them, isn't it, to celebrate the fact that we as a team and as an organisation are successful and are making things happen.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, completely agree.
And obviously, from a coaching perspective, we key always to draw the learnings from things. What additional learnings would you say you've had from both your wins or your challenges, or just the growth of business that you've had so far?
Yeah, I'd say when you are outsourcing any kind of service in your business, like let's say your marketing or I don't know, like for us, print, always have more than one supplier in the bag. You might have a supplier that you get along well with and they've done great. We had it with a supplier where you would use them for a year or two. They'd always been great, and out of nowhere, quality just dropped,
Yeah,
and it just wasn't what it was, and the price was going up. And at the time, because I had that close relationship, I didn't have any other suppliers in the back.
yeah,
So it was very much like I felt tied to this person, even though the quality wasn't what it was. So now I've replaced that person. We've got a brilliant person. I still use that person for other things, other
yeah.
services that are less important.
Brilliant.
But now we've got a better service provider, and I wish I'd had sort of more in the bag at the start. And I'd say my other thing is when I bought Blue Bricks magazine, someone asked me this question because I bought the business, I didn't found it. One of the things we had to turn it around. We bought it with debt, so we were struggling at the start. One of
Yeah,
the things we did was go through every single cost and axe, pointless subscriptions, £10 there, £20 there, 100 quid there, and do it like that. And as you grow, you stop doing that, and I've stopped doing that. And I would say regularly go through all of your fixed costs and your outgoings and go, what can we cut? What can we move down? Do we need this subscription? Is a free account going to do instead? Even if it's a tenner a month, do it because you'll be surprised how many tenner a month you can find that suddenly add up to a few 100 quid.
great advice. It's so often we keep hold of things, both as you say, subscription type stuff, but also suppliers that aren't being a success,
Yeah,
aren't serving us as much as they should. And again, going back to this idea of something that works without you, there's one of the key factors of value of a business is that they refer to it as the Switzerland factor, i.e. Switzerland being an independent company, a country. And
Yeah.
the idea is the business should be as independent as it can be from people, internal people like the owner, but also individual customers or individual suppliers. If somebody's going to have too much of an impact on the business, if it fails, then that's something that's obviously a weakness to the business and something that needs addressing.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And someone the other day, and one of their suppliers, that person makes up 80% of that supplier's income.
Yeah,
And they were talking to me because they were saying, I have so much stress in my business because if my business goes under, if I have a bad month, I know that these other suppliers could go under and follow me
yeah,
too, and it'd be like a domino effect.
yeah.
So I think you are right. Businesses have to be careful of that. And also, if ever you're looking to exit and sell your business, if you have customers that make up a massive percentage of your income, that can really devalue your business.
100, absolutely. Without, yeah, yeah, it's so important to, and of course, we don't need to necessarily reduce the business from that client, just increase the business from lots of others.
Like, yeah,
But you're absolutely right. If it is dependent on that, it really reduces, therefore increases risk to the business and reduces ultimately the
yeah.
value of the business. So really, really key. And I think you hopefully remember from last time. I love picking up quotes and sayings. What are your, do you have any sort of favorite quotes or sayings about business or success or life in general?
It's a really good one. I should have one at hand because I've been reading a lot of philosophy lately.
Ah, brilliant.
Um, you know, I don't think I've one at hand. There's one about there was a gentleman we interviewed, a guy called Alfie Best, and he's also known as the Gypsy Billionaire. He's very popular in business circles. And one of the things he was saying in his article, which I really liked, was life doesn't carve pieces out of you, it cuts chunks out of you. And we all know that we have to shape ourselves as people and, turn ourselves into people we want to be. But that's not a painless process. That can be extremely painful. And
Yeah.
I think when you're growing a business and growing as a person, a lot of the times, in order to become the person that you want to become, you have to take on more risks and do things that make you uncomfortable and scared, really.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely true. It's the person we become, isn't it? And the building, not just the skill sets, but the identity of someone that
Yeah,
can take those things on and understanding, I think, that most businesses will go through phases of risk, of fear, of I won't say failure, but of less than optimal success, let's put it that way. And
yeah.
that's just part of business life.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Because it was scary for me to replace myself. But you
Yes.
look at the alternative, yeah, and you go, What's the alternative? Do I just stay skirting in this place forever?" Um, and I think when you take that approach and you sort of reverse engineer what the alternative to not taking action is, that can sometimes help.
Yes, I think that's really valuable learning. Is okay. This might be fearful or a concern or a challenge. What happens if we don't do anything?
Yeah,
And I think one of the quotes that we have in our organisation is the biggest risk we can take is to do nothing. Um,
yeah,
and and that's often the case because ultimately for all of us, the business world is ever changing. Our clients change, our suppliers change, the economy changes. So the idea that we would be able to continue to be successful without change is a bit, I guess, foolish almost, or certainly naive.
yeah. I completely agree, especially now with AI and technology, and that is moving so quickly. It's
Yes.
terrifying. I think all businesses now really need to be keeping up with what can we do to adapt and change and keep moving forward and implement these changes to make a positive difference rather than trying to fight against them.
Yeah, I think that's the key thing, isn't it? Is rather than fight against it, use the energy to go with the flow, to adapt and adopt, and just understand better. Um, what impact something like AI will have, how we can use it even at a very small amount. I think there's some interesting stats about how little it's being engaged with across business and industry. There are plenty of examples where it's been used really well, but a lot of people are still thinking, well, it won't affect me, or it won't affect me for another year or two, and yet it's here and
Yeah.
now operating often in oftentimes we don't even realize it because, we're communicating with something we think is human and it isn't always.
Oh, absolutely. And when people think AI, people think ChatGPT, and I did for a long time. But now I've actually researched what AI can do and how it can be implemented. It's scary, but it's also so exciting. What
Yes. Yeah, I agree. I think it's about information. Ultimately, information is power, isn't it? Knowledge is power. If we understand something, we can act accordingly. We can hopefully take advantage of it, but at the very least, we can avoid being too fearful of it.
Great. Yeah, completely agree.
So, and what else, Sam, would you say you've learned about yourself throughout your journey so far? What did you learn going through the process of replacing yourself with somebody else?
Yeah, I think I've had to kind of recreate my role. I think it
Yep.
sounds cool, doesn't it? Like I've replaced myself, but then I did find myself at the point for what do I actually need to do now? You have to put a lot of focus on right, what is actually going to grow the business because it's still easy to find yourself doing tasks that don't drive stuff forward. The
Yep.
other learning for me, a more recent one, has been managing burnout, I would say, because I a few weeks back, probably a month ago, hit a period of burnout, which is the worst I've ever had in my life. Um, and also the one that's stuck the most. It stuck for about 2 weeks. Normally, burn out for a couple of days, have a bit of rest, then I'm back. But I had this
Yep.
stint of no matter how much I rested, it wasn't fixing it, and I was just exhausted, like absolutely didn't want to get out of bed, shattered, and I'd try and do work, and it was just my brain wasn't working. So trying to figure out how I stop from getting to that point has been quite a big personal learning curve too, because it's not pleasant when you're there.
No, yeah, I've got my own sort of stories about going through period of burnout, and it really isn't nice. And it's a big part of why I do what I do is to help people, well, not just avoid burnout, but actually go the way, enjoy doing what we do, and actually make every day a
Yes.
pleasure, and for ourselves and everyone in our organisations. And it's because it can be. It doesn't having a capacity and a willingness to work hard is great, and we all sort of need to at certain times. But when it becomes the norm rather than the exception, that's when we really got to be careful, I think.
Yeah, I completely agree. And the other personal learning has been, we've had to deal with some less than ethical individuals and businesses, people that have tried to take advantage, tried to do us over on deals. That's been hard to navigate because I'm quite at the end. Anyone that knows me, I'm a very kind, giving person. I
Yeah.
try and always be that way. And when you
Yep.
face people at the opposite of that, it can be difficult. And just learning to give more time to the people that add value to you in your business and spend less time with the people that don't, because everyone wants a coffee, everyone wants to catch up, everyone wants a phone call. Um, but you should really only be spending time with stakeholders, suppliers, and people that are pushing the boat forward.
Yeah.
If you find there are people that take more than they give, and believe me, there's a lot of them, and some of them will wear a smile and they might seem like they're your friends and they might not have bad intentions. It's just the way it falls. It's just trying to
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And so looking forward then, what does the future look like for you guys? And what challenges do you think you might face, if any?
Yeah, so starting this new business, that's the new exciting thing. The
Yep.
challenge with that is a challenge that I've already faced, which is in the property sector that I'm in. I'm very well known. The brand is very, very well known. And we've got to a point where we've announced the awards this morning. We've already sold one of the main sponsorship packages within 3 hours of the video going live. We might have just sold a table of 10 within a couple of hours. And
Cool.
that's just one. There's more coming, but the brand's so well known within that space. That's expected, without sounding egotistical. We've put
Yeah.
a lot of work into building relationships, and it's a small industry. Going into a new business, and this business is B2B, it's not property specific. I'm a new fish in a massive pond. And it's reminded me how challenging it is at the start because with Blue Bricks, we've got the track record and the name that people trust.
Yes.
Going into this new world and going, hi, you've never heard of me, you don't know me, I've got no track record in this industry, let's do some business together. That's so difficult.
Yeah.
It's really, really difficult. So that's the challenge.
It's a really good learning, isn't it? I mean, it's a really good learning
Yeah,
for other people is understand that the challenge is. I mean, there is a principle. I think Branson put it well that once you've learned to grow one business, you can grow any number of businesses because the principles are the same. Absolutely.
yeah,
But if they're in a different space, then there's a whole bunch of stuff that you have to start at scratch for, including building a
yeah.
reputation.
Yeah, it is. It's made it harder. And don't get me wrong, you are right. I'll use the same principles and it'll work. It was like that when I first took Blue Bricks on, and it's taken years of work, but we've got to where we are. It's the same. It's just, I suppose it's like being in rooms where you're the most attractive person in the room and then going into a room where you're not. And you go, oh, I'm not getting the attention I'm used to. I've actually got to grow a personality now. So yeah, it's that kind of thing, really.
I don't have that problem. I'm always the least attractive person in the room.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, I can believe it. But yeah, that's been hard.
yeah, no, I get that. I definitely get that. Sam, it's been fascinating. Obviously you've got a whole bunch of stuff going on, and I wish you all the success with both the awards, which sound like, as I say, you've already, secured a sponsor, secured some bookings. That's wonderful, and I wish you best luck. What sort of I mean, are you able to share what sort of arena the new business is in, or is it something that you're waiting for
Yeah,
the launch?
yeah, yeah, I can. So basically, what we've done is, are you familiar with Blue Light Card, Chris?
No, I'm not, to be honest.
Yes. Well, I'll tell you a bit about it because it's quite a famous brand. So Blue Light Card is a brilliant business, and it's basically a discount app for blue light services, so NHS, police, fire service, that
Oh
kind of thing.
yes, sorry, yes,
Um,
yeah, go on.
yeah, we've basically taken that concept and we've applied it to business owners. So you as a business owner, rather than getting discounts at like Domino's Pizza, can use this app to get discounts on all your business expenses, so marketing fees, solicitor fees, uh, petrol, diesel, parking, you name it, it's on there.
Brilliant.
Partnered with big brands like Tide, Currys, Zero. Um, and it basically, these businesses give discounts to our members who use the app to get those discounts on all business and lifestyle related expenses. So that's what the business is. The app's built and we're launching again, hopefully in the next 2 weeks.
Brilliant. Sounds very exciting. And perhaps maybe it'd be great to get you back in, not a bit sooner, and just see how things are going, and maybe we can talk a bit more about that. And if we could
Yeah,
get a bit
thank
of
you.
highlighting that, that'd be really pleased to do that.
Thank you. No, I've really enjoyed setting it up behind the scenes, and it's a project that I'm massively passionate about. Just because, like we are talking at the start of this call, rising costs. I'm not the only business facing that. Every
Yes.
business owner I speak to, it's the same problem. And I was kind of sat thinking, if we built this up, and if it can just even take a little bit of the edge off for businesses,
Yeah.
then it helps everybody, and that's what really excites me.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, Sam, as I say, it's been a real pleasure talking to you again,
Thank
and
you.
congratulations on everything you achieved. I really do wish you well with the new business. That sounds amazing, and I say we'll get if we can, we'll get you back to come and specifically talk about that. But for now, anyone that's watching would like to get in touch with you, or the company or any of the companies, what would be the best way to do that?
Yeah, I'd say bluebricksmagazine.com. If you're listening to this and you're not in property, but maybe you want to advertise or promote your business or services to more property people, get in touch with me, sam at bluebricksmagazine.com. If you'd like to learn more about the awards, get involved, or just have a good party with me, come and contact me there. And if I can just help with anything generally, if people just want to chat, I'm always here.
Brilliant. Well, as I say, so it'd be great to swing by again, fairly soon. But for now, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks very much for having me.
Thank you.